Greetings, my Facebook family and friends. Hope all is well in your world as it is in mine. Life is good. I hope your year is off to a wonderful start, even though we're about 3/4 of the way through January. I hope you're having an excellent 2023 at this point. So just wanted to come and share a little bit with you today about something that's very heavy on my heart, something that's very dear to me. So just want to share not only for myself but for the benefit of other fathers that may be going through something similar. I'm sure as I get into the story, it's something that you'll be able to relate to. So I'm gonna hang out for a little bit and see if some people, some more people come on board here, so we can have I want this message to get out to as many people as possible. It's very important. It's very powerful, and it needs to be heard. So I'm just going to hang out for a little bit longer to see who else comes in. So I'm hanging out at a coffee shop, ice cream shop out here in Douglasville, Georgia. Give me a little coffee, maybe get a little ice cream on the way out. But didn't want it to, just want to kind of be in the right environment. Didn't want to be at home, so I came out to this nice little quaint little coffee shop that I love here, and ice cream shop that I love here in Douglasville. Wow, I just got back from Africa. I was in Rwanda, East Africa for 7 weeks. Had a wonderful time. That was my 4th trip there. Some of you know, many of you may not know, but it is my intent to make Rwanda my retirement home, so I have adopted it already as my 2nd home. I love it there. It has a lot of positives. If you're going to Africa, you got to go to Africa, generally speaking, but specifically I love Rwanda. That's the only places I've ever been. That's in East Africa. It's a beautiful country, a powerful country, has a lot to offer. One of the cleanest cities, has a reputation for the cleanest city in Africa. It's the 6th safest city in the world, according to the last reports that I looked at. So it has a lot to offer. Now, as an American, especially African American, if you're looking for solid investments in agriculture and real estate, it's hard to beat Rwanda. It's hard to beat Rwanda. So I'm just going to wait just a little bit longer, see if we can get a few more people on. We only got 11 people on right now. And so you 11, please hang out with me a little longer. This is my first time doing a Facebook Live, so I don't even know how to work all this. What's happening in the comments, and I don't know. So I'm just going to share what I have to share, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, so looks like some of the viewers have left. Some more maybe come in. We'll see. Oh, now we got 3. So when we get up to 10, I'm gonna get started. Okay. How's the weather where you are? Wherever you may be. Here in Atlanta, it's reasonable. It's maybe 50. So not too bad. But it's not like when I just left Rwanda, where it was, anywhere from 68 to 80 every day. Beautiful weather. I love it. Okay. All right. So again, this is something that it's been heavy on my heart. This is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. It's way overdue, possibly. Today is my daughter Samaya's 16th birthday. Her 16th birthday. So happy 16th to you, Samaya, from your dad. I love you. Now the powerful thing about this is that Samaya is my 3rd child. And I have not seen Samaya, even though this is her 16th birthday. I haven't seen her since she was 2 months old. I haven't seen my daughter, Samaya Abdul Ali, since she was 2 months old. So just to give you the backstory and the history, her mother and I met sometime in 2005. I was working heavily in the hospitality industry here in Atlanta with many of the top caterers in the city. And I was doing a particular function, working a particular function, and she was too, Mom was too. And ironically, we met at a wedding. And I seen this particular young lady, and I was just smitten. When I seen her, I was like, wow, that's my girl. I got to have her. And, just seriously, love at first sight or it was something very strong. I don't know if you want to call it love, but it was something very strong from the beginning. From the first time that I seen her, I was like, wow, I got to have this girl. And so even though we were working, I bugged her all night long, like, look, we got to hook up. We got to talk. She's like, man, get out of here. I'm working. I said, look, you don't understand. I'm not taking no for an answer. We got to talk. So all night I went after her, right? And towards the end of the night, maybe 30 minutes or so before the event ended, she finally capitulated and gave me the digits. And I was like, yes, persistence works. And so, I was so happy on the way home. I was like, man, this is my girl. This is my dream girl. I've been waiting for her for a long time. There she is. I got her. And then I got to just do the things that's necessary to really get her, right? And so, being a man, I didn't want to appear too happy or too, what's the word I'm looking for? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Eager and all of that, right? So I waited for a couple of days. Then when I finally called her and we started talking, she said to me, well, what took you so long? I was like, uh-oh, she liking me too. And so it was just a beautiful conversation, and we continued to talk over the course of the next couple of weeks, couple of months, and then it got to the point where we were just inseparable. So I let her know what my intentions were up front, like, look, I ain't looking for no girlfriend, I ain't trying to get in your pants, none of that. I want to marry you. I want you to be my wife. I want to be with you forever. And again, she's like, yeah, and I heard that before. I said, like, no, you ain't heard it from me, right? So anyway, long story short, we were inseparable for about a year or so. We got married in April of 2006. Had a wonderful wedding here in Atlanta. Some of her family came down from New York. She's a Puerto Rican sister. Some of her family came down from New York, Pennsylvania. My family came down from Ohio. Those here in Georgia was there. It was just a beautiful event. And so we honeymooned in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And never will forget it. Never will forget that particular honeymoon. It was just special. A lot of things special about it. I'm not going to get into that here, but we honeymooned in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And when we got back to Atlanta, shortly thereafter, my beautiful bride tells me she's pregnant. I was like, yes. So we got us a honeymoon baby on the way. And so obviously, just ecstatic, madly in love with this woman. She was madly in love with me. We had beautiful chemistry. The love for each other was just evident, and it was a beautiful thing. And so 9 months later, here comes Samaya, my third child, my second daughter. And we talked about what we would do once we got married. We talked about what we would do when we had children. We actually planned it. The idea was for her to stay at home and be at home, a stay-at-home mom. I was going to work, take care of the bills, take care of everything. I want you to stay at home, at least for the first couple of years. It has to be solid relationship with you and the children. And so we were on that particular path. And she's breastfeeding and all those things, and so it was just wonderful, man. And so, as fate would have it, life sometimes throws some serious twists at you that you're just not ready for. But so we're having this wonderful relationship. Our daughter is here. Oh man, it was just beautiful. Life was good. And we started having a few little problems, a few little arguments here and there. Nothing serious, just typical stuff. But one night we got into an argument, and it turned pretty serious. As a matter of fact, it changed the course of my life, my now ex-wife's life, and my daughter's life, Samaya. And this is part of the reason why I haven't seen her since she was 2 months old. Anyway, we get into an argument. At that time, the wife was breastfeeding, and sometimes she couldn't produce enough milk, so we had this alternative milk we would give Samaya, and she didn't like it. And anytime we would feed her that, she would just holler and whine. She'd drink it, but she just had a fit, right? And so this particular night, I was in the other part of the house. The wife was in the bedroom. Samaya's bedroom was adjacent to hers, and Samaya started hollering and crying. And so, since their rooms were right there together, I just kept watching TV. And Samaya hollers, she hollers. I'm like, why don't she get up and get her? So she never did get up to get Samaya. So I went and got Samaya, brought her back with me, and got some. She's hungry, so I got the alternative milk and started feeding her. And so she drank a little bit, she whined. She drank a little bit, she hollered. She drank a little bit. And so the wife comes to me and says, hey, what are you doing to her? It's like, hey, I'm trying to feed her. Not doing anything to her. She hollers even when you have her, and she's drinking this alternative milk. So that's all that's going on. So she goes back and lays back down. Samaya's hollering some more. Now I'm burping. She's hollering. She's just not feeling good as a young baby, right? And so the wife comes back in again and says, look, just give her to me. I said, no. You didn't. She was hollering and you didn't want to pick her up, so I got her. So we cool. Just go lay back down like you were. And so that started a particular argument. And so she really wanted me to give the baby to her, and I wouldn't. A mistake. So it really came down to a thing of, no, this is my baby. You're going to give me my baby. And so I wouldn't. And so no, but not in a way that was mean or nasty or anything like that. It was just like, okay, I got her. You're just going to lay down. Just, Daddy got her. And she accused me of hitting her, which was a lie. Never touched her. She stormed out of the house. It was just, she just went berserk all of a sudden. Like, I'm looking at her like, what the heck? So now I'm sitting down the entire time. I got Samaya over my arm, on my shoulder like this, burping. Never did get up. So we arguing. I got Samaya, I'm burping her, and we just going back and forth for about 10 minutes. So she finally just leaves the house and was gone for about 3 hours. So this started around 10 o'clock in 10 p.m. About 1 o'clock in the morning, after Samaya and I went to bed, I get a knock on the door. I go to the door, it's the police. They're like, whoa, what's happening here? Let the police in. They said, listen, your wife has come down to the station, and we've heard her side of the story. We want to hear yours. So I tell them exactly what happened. They said, get up, put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest. I said, you gotta be kidding me. He says, no, look, when we come out on these types of calls, somebody gotta go to jail. And you're the odd man out. So I go from having a wonderful week, a wonderful evening even, we had a wonderful dinner a little earlier, to a few hours later, I'm in jail, accused of assaulting my wife. Now, the officers in their police report said they didn't see any particular bruises. I'm 6'4", 220. She's fair skinned. If I'd have hit her anywhere, it would have been some kind of mark or something. Anyway, no particular visible marks because I didn't touch her. But I'm in jail. And I'm like, how can the events turn so quickly, so badly like that? So I spent 3 days in jail. The second day that I was there, they bring an envelope to me saying that I had to sign. Like, sign what? It was a child support notice. Now, mind you, I'm paying all the bills in the house. She's not working. I'm taking care of everything. Even took on $500 worth of her personal bills before we even married. That's how I was rolling, right? So now I'm in jail. They talk about child support. It's like, man, y'all tripping. So, end of story. In this particular story, I stay in jail for 3 days. On the third day when I was released, since we were living together, I had to get permission from the police. They had to escort me to the house to make sure that she wasn't there because we had this temporary protective order in place that was issued while I was in jail in those three days. And so when I get home, the eeriest feeling ever, like the house is empty of everything that was hers and the babies. So it's just me in this 3-bedroom house. And you're talking about a feeling of loneliness and so many different feelings, right? I'm like, it can't be happening. This is not happening. So long story short, the next week we had a particular court date. So we go to court the next week. My name is Ali. First thing on the docket. The judge looks at our particular file. He said, look, this don't make any sense. Y'all need to go out in the hallway, talk this thing over, then y'all come see me at the end of the docket. So we go out to the hallway. I'm thinking, okay, we get a chance to talk this thing out, work this thing out. But she had, there was an attorney that she had that was from, I forget the particular agency, but dealing with women that are in shelters. So she had this particular Asian attorney, wouldn't let me talk to her. She split us up. She talked to me. She talked to her. She talked to me. She talked to her. The only conversation she had with me was, how much child support are you going to pay? It's like, lady, I ain't paying no child support. I said, no, you don't understand. You got to pay some child support. I said, well, what is the child support based on? I have all my documents in terms of what I make. So if we're going to pay child support, it's going to be based on my documentation. They never would even look at my documentation. They based the child support payment that I'm going to pay on what she said I made. Never looked at a document that I had. So anyway, we go back into the courtroom after everything's left over. The judge is like, man, this doesn't make any sense, but hey, I have to do what I have to do based on the evidence in front of me. So he said, Mr. Ali, you seem like an intelligent young man. What I would advise for you to do is go down to the Gwinnett County law library, and there's some documents that you can look at to further take a look at this thing and see how you can get it resolved. This is what he's saying to me. So when I leave out of that particular courtroom, I have a temporary protective order on me for 1 year. Can't go within 100 yards of this of my ex, right? So I'm paying child support based on information that she had provided to the courts. So I noticed when I was paying my child support payments, the checks would be 3 weeks or so before they were being cashed. So I'm like, okay, if this woman's in the shelter, she has her own income, you don't wait 3 weeks before your checks are cashed. Well, little did I know at that particular time that she had actually fled the state. I found this out 3 weeks, a month after that, because we had another court date set up where we were gonna have to testify against each other, right? So this is the weirdest thing. I got to go to court and testify against my wife, this woman that I love. So since she didn't show up, they threw everything out. So, okay, wow. So now I don't have any criminal charges hanging over my head, but I still got this child support that I'm dealing with. So I'm paying child support to a child that I can't even see. Don't know where she's at. 6 months goes by. I get a letter from the state of Pennsylvania saying it's a parent locator form. They're trying to locate me because she's filed for child support in the state of Pennsylvania. So I gave them all the information that they needed. They knew where I was. Eventually, the child support claim that she filed in Pennsylvania was denied because she left the state of Georgia in an unlawful way that she wasn't supposed to. And so now the child support claim is denied. So now I'm not paying child support, and I don't have any criminal charges against me. But I still don't know where my daughter is. The only thing I know is she may be somewhere in Pennsylvania. So now at this point, I can't contact her. I got this temporary protective order against me, so I can't make any contact with her whatsoever. And so that gave me time to think. A lot of things went through my particular mind. I went down to the courthouse like the judge said, and when I started researching and uncovering some things, I found out that there's thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of men, African Americans and otherwise, that are going through this particular situation where they're just being stripped of their rights, if you will, as a father. And so I started looking at a situation where I could maybe become a child advocate, not an advocate, but an advocate for men like myself that was going through that to help fight this particular the unjustness of it all. And I started digging deep into it. But it got to the point where I was just consumed with it. And it became really to be just negative energy. And I'm not that kind of guy, so I decided, you know what, I got to let this go. It's driving me crazy. It's just too much. It's a negative energy, and I got to let it go. So I let it go. After a year, after this temporary protection order was over, I said, okay, now it's over. What do I do? I still know where she's at. Phone number's changed. I started doing some online searches to see if I can find her that particular way. I got kind of close sometimes. Her old phone number came up in some searches, and some old addresses that I knew to be correct. But long story short is it wasn't enough. I couldn't locate her. And so again, I was consumed with what do I do? And really a lot of times these situations boil down to money. If you got money, you can be more aggressive in terms of hiring private detectives and private detectives and things of that nature to assist you. But I didn't have those types of funds. And so I took the position, you know what? I would hope that at some point in time that she'll come back to her senses, so to speak, and realize that, like, hey, it's not fair for me to not let this man see his daughter. And that's the position that I took. I'm just going to roll with that. I'm going to let go and let God, so to speak. And so I rolled like that for a year, another year. So second year in, I did some more searching. Couldn't find her. At this point, I was like, you know what? What if I find her right now? What if I go to wherever I gotta go and I find her, and then she runs again, she hides again. Now I gotta go find her again. Then I find her again. Now she runs. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life running after this woman. I'll just pray that she'll come to her senses and say, listen, let me contact this man and let him see his daughter. And I just had faith that would happen. I just, all the stories that I've heard of this happening to brothers and even sisters, and at some point things happen. The universe has a way of revealing things, and then they're reunited with their children. So I was thinking along those lines. Something's going to happen where I'll get to a point where I'll get a chance to see my daughter again. And 6 years went by. Not a word from her. Until I get in the mail one day another letter from the state of Pennsylvania that spoke, the language was about adoption. It's like, oh my God, this woman I lost her man. She's gonna put her daughter up for adoption? No way. But it wasn't that. She had got remarried, and her present husband wanted to adopt my daughter as his. So the only way he could do that is that I would have to voluntarily give up my parental right as her father. Ah! Y'all tripping, man. Yeah, that ain't about to happen. That ain't about to happen. So I have this order to come to court in the state of Pennsylvania to answer to these particular charges. And let me back up a little bit. So the wording was such that, and the letter was such that I could sign off on the particular letter. They have these arrows and pointing to where to sign, just give up my rights voluntarily. It's like, man, these people tripping, man. They don't know me. No, I'm coming to court. We're going to fight. Now that I know where you're at, we got to fight now. So again, things boil down to money. So I contacted some attorneys in Pennsylvania, and the least expensive one wanted like $4,500, which isn't a lot of money, but if you don't have it, it's a lot of money. Long story short, I ended up going to court in Pennsylvania to sit before the judge and fight for my right as her biological father. I'm not voluntarily giving up my parental right. No. So I jump on a train, ride to Pennsylvania, pick out my best suit, nice, trim, shaved. I'm looking good. I go in this courtroom. The judge is white. The bailiff is white. The child advocate lawyer is white. My ex-wife's lawyer is white, and she's Puerto Rican. I'm the blackest thing in there. So I said, man, you know what? This ain't gonna end good. This is not gonna end good. So her attorney calls me to the stand. We go through all of this. Then she goes, my wife's on the stand. My ex-wife is on the stand. Now I'm acting as an attorney. I'm questioning her, right? This is madness, man. I'm like, what? I'm looking at this woman that I've been seeing in 6 years, that I was madly in love with, and I'm acting as an attorney, trying to ask her questions about, like, why you do me like this? That's basically the only thing I could come up with. Why? Why would you do me like this? That's the amount of effort, energy, and love that I put into our relationship. And this is where we are? Why? So, at the end of the day, when I left the courtroom, it was funny because I seen the bailiff on my way back to the bus stop to go to my hotel. I seen the bailiff. The bailiff said, Mr. Ali, he said, you handled yourself really well in the courtroom. And this is a very fair judge. I've been working with him for a long time. He's a very fair judge, and he likes you. And he didn't particularly like the attorney and your ex. Wow, okay, I got a little hope then. So, go back to the hotel, and the whole thing is just bizarre. I'm tripping, right? Go back to the hotel, rest up for the night, get on the train, go back home the next day. Prayerful that things are going to work out, because I'm there. I'm trying to tell. I told the judge, like, look, you sent me a letter. The court sent me a letter said that I could give up my rights voluntarily, just sign off on this. I didn't sign. No, I'm in court right now. I'm here to let you know that ain't about to happen. So I'm here to represent. Y'all, you guys are positioning me like I'm a deadbeat guy who doesn't care. If I didn't care, I'd just kept my ass in Atlanta and just don't get going. No, but I'm here. So anyway, 3 weeks later, I get this letter from the state of Pennsylvania. I'm scared to open it. I'm scared to open it because I don't know. I'm afraid of what it's going to read. When I opened the letter and read it, they had ruled against me. The court system had taken my parental rights away from me. So now my own biological daughter, I have no rights to. Can't even be a father if I wanted to. How can that happen? No history of abuse to my daughter or my wife. Just an alleged. She alleged that I hit her. No proof whatsoever. Then she didn't even show up in court. So the judge's ruling and the court's ruling was based on, they said I didn't do enough to find my daughter. I abandoned my daughter, even though her mother took her from the state of Georgia without me knowing, because at that time I was on a temporary protective order. I know none of this is going on. She takes the daughter, goes to another state, but then I'm accused of abandoning my daughter. I didn't do enough to find her. So brothers, if you're out there listening, if you're ever in a situation like this, I would advise you do all that you possibly can to show that you love, you care, you're committed, and you're going to do whatever you can for your children. Do all that you can. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you say, man, I should have did this, I should have did that. Do all that you can. Go all out. Go overboard. So no judge will be able to say you didn't do enough. Now, anybody who knows me know that ain't how I roll. I would never. Samaya, if you ever get a hold of this particular video, this is your father, your biological father. I would never, ever abandon you or any of the other two children that I have. Never. That ain't in my DNA. I'm not made like that. So I'm prayerful that, you know, in this world of social media, anything can happen. Somebody could see it who knows Samaya, who knows her mother, who knows the situation. And they may be able to pass something on. You know, I'm just prayerful that something will happen, that Samaya will know that it's not true. What is alleged to have happened, it's not true. I have every piece of document that came out of that particular case. At some point, I'd love to show it to you if I possibly could. Anyway, that's what I wanted to come here and talk about. Again, it's been on my heart for a long time. I've been, you know, saving birthday cards and, you know, all kind of things like that. The only thing that I have of her, Samaya, is a picture that we took, our first professional picture that we took of her. I have a 5x7 picture of my daughter in a little wallet size. That's all I have. I used to keep the wallet size in my car, hanging down from the sun visor, but I had to take it out because I couldn't bear to look at it every day. So I took that down and put it away. That's the only thing that I have physically, but the memory is always there. So when I log into my email every day, my email address is Samaya, your name, 23, your date of birth, Samaya23@gmail.com. I log into that every day as to remember you. I connect with you every day, Samaya. So if anybody has any information out there, email me at Samayah, SAMAYH23 @gmail.com. You can just email me and say, hey man, you should have did more. Or hey man, I feel sorry for you. But I'm not looking for any sympathy. I'm just putting my story out there. But as other brothers, if you have any stories that are similar, let's talk, man. Let's talk. Maybe we can provide some comfort for each other, you know, those types of things, right? Wow. Samayah, happy birthday. Happy 16th birthday. This is Dad. This is your father, Jamal. We used to dance, man. I used to have you on my shoulder, and we used to dance to the Motown sounds. I know you love soul music because I used to play that with you, to you all the time, and just dance with you on my shoulder. That memory I have, it's beautiful. I love you, Samayah. It is my hope, it is my prayer that at some point in time that I'll get to see you. You'll get to see me. And regardless of what has been said, I guarantee you, when you see me and you feel my spirit and you feel my soul, you will know. No way my dad would do me like that. The spirit don't lie. So that's my story. It's real, it's authentic, and it comes from the heart. Happy 16th birthday, Samayah. And to the rest of y'all hanging out with me, I want to say thank you for hanging out. Thank you. And I wish you peace, love, and soul. All right, I'm out. Let's see if I can stop this thing. Okay, in live video. So again, before I do that, email me at Samayah23 @gmail.com or hit me up on Facebook. You can messenger me, inbox me. I'm gonna try to share this video with onto YouTube as well, so we can get as much exposure as we possibly can. The people who have stayed on to listen to my story, I really appreciate it, because I know there's many things that you could be doing, but you hung out with me. So I appreciate that. All right. So somebody says, test question, what value did DMV estimate? Oh, that's from I'll get with you on YouTube about that. But listen, I'm out. And again, peace, love, and soul to everybody. And brothers, never give up hope about those that you love. Okay?